mood to read something comfy and cozy for the fall, also something like really nostalgic that'll make you feel like you're a little teenager again, you know, you need to read this book right here because this book was my favorite book series. It's a series, a 4-book series, and it's always been one of my favorites that I always reread till this day, just because it's such an easy, digestible read and it's really, really easy to follow along. This is a young adult paranormal romance, and I know I talked about this before, but I don't care, I'm gonna talk about it again because I just freaking love this book so much. And it's pretty much just about this girl who's 15 years old and she discovers that she's a fairy. Something significant happens to her that makes her discover that she's a fairy, which I won't tell because I don't want to spoil anything. She just discovers that she's a fairy. She's trying to navigate her newfound life because obviously when you discover something like this, it's crazy. Also, there is a trope in this book that a lot of people don't tend to gravitate towards, and that's a love triangle. But listen, I for one kind of like love triangles. I don't know, I feel like the reason why I like love triangles in the first place is because of this book, just because of like the tension. I don't know, I don't like it now that I'm older and like adult books because like it's just like, you know better, come on. But when it's in a teen book like this, it's just like, okay, she's young, we get it, you know what I mean? Not everyone has relationship experience when you're that young of an age, so you're still discovering yourself as a human person and how to navigate through teen relationships, you know? This book is also what introduced me to fairies in the first place in like the fae world, but the way that this book describes fairies and like what they are is actually so incredibly different than any other book that I've read. I don't want to say why, but there's a specific reason why, and I just have not seen that done before, and I still haven't. So it's a completely new concept. So now as an adult, when I read other fae books, I always compare it to this book series because that's what I picture fairies to be like, when really it's not really what it's supposed to be like. I still really, really like that concept, and I kind of want more stories like that with that concept rather than the ACOTAR type of fae. I'm not saying that I don't like ACOTAR, because ACOTAR was a pretty good book. It was interesting. I felt like I couldn't get too much into it because I just love the idea of how fairies were in this book, and I would just always use this book as a guide for future books that I read, which I should not be doing, but I can't help it. Also want to mention the Goodreads reviews as a disclaimer, but like listen, it's not that much of a disclaimer because even though it's rated like this doesn't mean that it's a bad book, okay? Because to each their own. Obviously, I hate when I read bad reviews of a book that I love so much. I understand everyone has their own opinions and it's fine. Obviously, when I read the bad reviews on this book, I cried. Just kidding, no, I cried inside. I would never cry outside because of that. That makes no sense. But it's just a book that I hold near and dear to my heart, and I just want everyone else to hold it dear to their heart too. But it's super, super good. It's super cute, and it's perfect for the fall. It's super cozy. I think it was set in Northern California, somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, and so it's lush and green, and it's those type of vibes, which I love. So just give it a try if you want to feel that nostalgia.